Yeah, right on. Yeah.
Hi, you guys. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for coming.
Nice to see you, Matt.
Yeah, you too, man.
It's a giant block of cream cheese.
Yeah.
I love cream cheese.
Holy cow. Look at that. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home.
What we have here is our Explorer Series 18-gallon water heater. What makes it a marine water heater is it uses coolant. This particular water heater has 4 sources of heat: AC, DC, coolant 1, and another independent coolant number 2.
Jeff builds these water heaters himself in his shop on Bainbridge Island, Washington.
One way that Yanni and I afford this project is from our business product sponsors that come on board to give us stuff to install on the boat. These are businesses that we believe in, and this week we're really lucky to have Jeff from Torrid Marine, who happens to be a local business. We knew him through mutual friends. He's going to give us a master class on how to best install a domestic water system on board Duracell. Today, in preparation for his arrival, I'm going to do a few things, including make sure that the water heater will actually fit. I've got a space for it, but there's one thing I didn't account for. So Jeff, a few weeks ago, brought over this like shell of the water heater, and so we're gonna stick it in place. So I made my shelf just a little bit small.
Matt,
Yes, dear.
did you just say you're gonna cut a hole in your beautiful shelf that you made?
Yes, so that's what I didn't. There's the deck up here is a little bit further outboard than I realized. The water heater is tall, it's going to extend way up there, and so it's going to hit this side of the deck, and it would actually lean a little bit if I installed it right here. So what I have to do is cut out just a little section of my very pretty mounting cabinet here, and just to make sure that it fits.
You're killing me. There's nowhere else you can put it.
The water heater?
Yeah.
No, this is the spot. It's a beautiful spot. It'll be a great spot for it, but I just have to make a little bit more room.
Okay, well, you have fun today. Cutting holes in your beautiful shelf.
You won't even see it when it's done. After the water heater's installed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't watch, so I'm gonna peace out.
Okay.
Have fun.
Thank you.
After the hole is cut, the water heater fit perfectly.
So we just spent a little bit of time up in the boat looking at things. What we're gonna do next is lay out a lot of the water system just on the table, because it's a pretty tight space up in the boat, and laying it out on the water table will help me visualize the order of operation, how the schematic of how the plumbing should be run. Jeff is really, really, really good with water plumbing, coolant systems, and so I'm going to be learning a lot. I hope you will as well, as far as like how to build a real water pressure system in your boat.
When you do a hot water heater install on a boat, you have to have an install kit, a go kit. I just have my standard go tools. screwdrivers, wire strippers, crimpers, stuff like that. Best practice on a hydronic system is to put a thermostatically controlled pump and heat exchanger between the coolant source and the coolant that goes to the hot water heater. When we build water heaters and install water heaters, we use a really heavy duty PTFE tape, not the white stuff, but the blue stuff.
Yep.
And then we use what's called a vibration resistant sealant. We use both. Wire connectors, switch with an anode, spare anode socket for you.
Oh.
There's your first set of spares.
Uh-huh.
Hose connectors, typically for coolant. Bunch of T's and stuff. Have more hose fittings and stainless. These are kind of cool. You're gonna put a one-way check valve at the inlet at the bottom. So when the hot water heater goes through its heating cycle, it doesn't push hot water back into the cold manifold, and therefore you get hot when you turn on cold.
Yep.
That's gonna stop it. Okay. The other thing that I really like are these union couplers, because that allows you to apply torque on one side of a fitting and on the other side independently to get the fitting both aligned and properly seated at the right tension. Hose clamps, always need hose clamps. Here we have ball valves.
Oh my God.
I like to put a lot of ball valves in. And we have what we call three-way reverse flushing valves.
We've spent the morning laying out the schematics for the plumbing, and that includes the freshwater side as well as the coolant side. And what's unique about this system that Jeff has designed is that the coolant from the hydronic system or from the generator can run through a heat exchanger that will then have its own closed loop going through the water heater. So would you mind explaining to the people what the advantage of doing it this way is?
Yeah. So again, on a marine water heater system, what makes it marine is that you have a coolant loop. And this one happens to have two. But it utilizes waste heat from an engine, a generator, a hydronic system to heat the hot water as a secondary use of that hot coolant. And the only drawback of doing that is that the coolant, if its engine's running for 4 hours, it's running completely all the time. And so what we like to do is kind of thermostatically control the coolant with a thermostat in here that's very similar to the electrical thermostat, so that it switches on and off a pump. And so from this side of the system to here, this heat exchanger is running continuously through, say, the engine or the generator. So the coolant is unobstructed, running continuously through it. On this side of the system, we've got a switch that's controlled by this orange wire that turns a pump on and off as it needs to heat or not heat the hot water based on the thermostatic pressure or thermostatic temperature that's set on the hot water heater.
Because the coolant loop from the engine or the hydronic could overheat the water in the water heater to bring it up to, what, 150 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this loop will keep it down.
Yeah, it keeps it down closer to what you're used to at home, which is 100, 125, 120, 125.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then Jeff also helped me lay out the freshwater system, including some extra valves and stuff that we can use to drain the water heater and just maintain it a lot easier.
Don't drop it.
Not now. We're too close. I'm good now.
Yeah, it was. Now that I'm putting this thing in, especially. Voila, it fits. We gotta fasten the whole thing down. It'll get strapped in and everything later. I think then Jeff and I might do a little bit of laying out of some of the other plumbing parts, see where everything fits, and we'll go from there. Jeff has got me into a really good position here. We've got as you can see, the water heater is in place. Looks like it's meant to be there. We got a start on some of the plumbing that's coming off of the water heater. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna make a list. I'm gonna get all of this stuff installed, the pumps, the expansion tanks, the maybe even some of the coolant loop stuff. Jeff's gonna come back a little bit later, inspect my work, and he'll give us some tips on what makes a really good freshwater system. So thank you so much, Jeff, for being here.
Thank you for including me, Matt. It's been a great pleasure working with you.
We really appreciate it. So you'll see him soon.
Jeff left me to install the rest of the system over the course of the next few days. I agonized over the layout of this relatively simple system. I was constantly placing and then replacing parts into new orientations. I was trying to keep its footprint small while also reducing hose runs and making sure that all the parts are visible enough that I can easily spot a problem. Here I am installing one of the accumulator tanks on the cold water side. Now I'm installing the circulation pump for the hot water heater side of the coolant loop that's going to heat the water using the engine coolant or the hydronic heater coolant. Blah, blah, blah.
Matt, you're on camera. Did you know that?
This is what the people hear. Blah, blah, blah. Let's put some hose on.
Hose for you, Matt.
Thank you.
Jeff's back.
Gotta love hose clamps.
No.
You know, Matt, that's a really nice install.
Thank you.
Probably one of the finest I've seen.
So I got to give credit where credit's due.
Couldn't have done this without help from my water heater and plumbing advisors. Okay, there you go. Over the past week, I've installed this whole thing, and now Jeff is back to help me kind of finish it and do some tweaking. So I'm hoping that you could explain to the viewers what makes this system special, what makes it go.
Okay. Well, at a really high level, a boat is unique from a house in that it's a closed, pressurized system. So the system gets pressure from this water pump, whereas in a house, it comes from the street.
Yep.
Now you've got an isolated, full pressurized water system, which is pretty cool. This pumps the whole water system pressure. This one happens to be 60 psi. It goes into this side, and it's also got an accumulator here that helps regulate that pressure. Moving on down the line, here is where it will tee off into the cold water manifold. And from this point forward, it's hot. We've got a check valve that keeps hot water from pushing its way back into the cold system. We've got an accumulator bladder that allows the system to pressurize as it gets hot and absorb some of that pressure. And we've also got a pressure reducing valve so that they can use this same pump not only for the whole water system on the boat, but also to reduce it down to 40 psi so that the system doesn't overpressurize. It's really important to have that, or another means of reducing the pressure in the hot system, because the Coast Guard says keep it at 100 or less. So that allows you to have a nice level of overhead so that you're not going to be creating a whole bunch of additional pressure during the heat cycle.
Gotcha.
Okay? So what's really nice about this installation is that they have included 2 accumulators on this side of it. We've got plenty of valves that allow it to be shut off and isolated, which becomes important when there's a problem. And down the road, there may be a problem where you need to isolate. So you've got plenty of valves. These particular valves we call flushing kit. But what they allow is they allow a garden hose to be fixed here. So this allows air to be released from the cooling side. This allows the system to be drained. This particular water heater also has a dedicated drain. But if you don't have a dedicated drain, this is a great way to add a drain, because you do need to drain the water heater if you're going to maintain it over the life of the water heater.
Yep.
So you'll get 5 years out of a water heater if you don't maintain it. You could get 25 years out of a water heater, even longer, if it's maintained.
Cool. And that includes like replacing zincs and cleaning it out and stuff like that.
It's actually magnesium, but there's 2 on this. There's one here and there's one up higher. Flushing it out, as the magnesium depletes, it's there to deplete so that corrosion doesn't occur on any of the other fittings. And some people will say, well, I see you've got stainless, you've got bronze, you've got brass, you've got all kinds of metals in there. Don't you have a dissimilar metal problem? The answer is no, as long as you keep your magnesium from being depleted.
Gotcha.
Once it's gone, all bets are off.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, keep the anodes. That's really important, at least annually, until you get a feel for how much am I depleting this. It's just like your prop shaft.
Right.
Keep an eye on it.
Right. Did you catch all that? If not, here's a recap. Jeff is going to point out all the elements that make this a great domestic water system in 1 minute. Ready?
The fact that you're adding calcium carbonate because you'll have a water maker, remineralizes the water. That's a really good thing to have from the get-go. The fact that you've got 2 accumulators, a cold water accumulator and a hot water accumulator, is awesome. You've got built-in drain capability. You've got built-in air release. These, by the way, go to garden hose fittings. So you can fill the coolant with this, with a garden hose and a funnel up here.
Sure.
And you're going to use one pump that's high enough pressure that it's going to allow you to use a wash down hose
Yep.
and pressurize your entire water system. But you've got a reducing valve that's going to reduce it so that you're not popping off too much pressure off your hot water heater between the temperature when it's cold and when it reaches temperature.
Gotcha. Okay.
And again, this is awesome.
Yep.
It's a really nice setup, and it's really kind of been fun to design with you.
Yeah, I've had a great time doing this. And again, I couldn't have ever figured out this system without the help of Jeff. I'm excited to pump some water through it.
I'd like to thank you, Matt and Yanni, for including me in this project. We would like to extend a special offer to your viewers and also to your patrons. So we're going to be working with our marketing partner, cruisingoutfitters.com, to set up a special promotion for anyone else that is a part of your journey to have access to our products at a discount. We have a $200 discount for your viewers and a $300 discount for your patrons. But we're just really pleased and thankful that you let us help.